Hi again. I just wanted to make this short video to tell you guys about my trip. Leanna, you'll probably know all these places that I talk about. You'll have heard of them. Jojo, probably not. You've probably heard of Vancouver, BC, but I don't know if you'll have heard of some of the other towns and cities that I've been to, but I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my trip. We left on Wednesday, August 1st, and we drove to Jasper, Alberta. We stayed there only one night, and the next morning we went up the Jasper Tramway, up what's called the Whistler's Mountain, and we ate breakfast up there in the mountains and in the clouds, and then I climbed up to the summit of the mountain. Took me probably about 45 minutes to climb to the top, and then another 45 minutes to climb back down. It was amazing. The view from up there is absolutely amazing. I have all my pictures from my trip are on my Facebook page, so you can look there. Look under BC Trip Photos, either mobile or Canon photos, or both. Check out both. And I have some really nice pictures on there. And then we left Jasper on August 2nd, and we drove to Revelstoke, where my brother, that's in BC, where my brother was working for the week. He lives in Golden, BC, which is on the way to Revelstoke, not far from there. But he happened to be working in Revelstoke, and that just happened to be where we had booked a hotel for the night. And we just happened to be booked into the same hotel as him. So we met him and went for supper that night. And then the next morning, he got up early and went to work, and we got up and we left and we drove all the way to Vancouver. So we were in Vancouver on August 3rd, early evening. We checked into our hotel. Our hotel was really, really nice. Our room was huge with 2 queen beds and a balcony overlooking the water. The Fraser River it was called. And there was a market right next door, which had like a grocery store and a crepe place and a bakery, which also had Mexican food. And it had the Great Wall Tea Company, which sold tea, and a burger place and a couple of other restaurants and a gelato place. And there was a boardwalk out front on the river. It was really nice. And just across the way, there was a couple of restaurants. And there was a place called the Paddle Wheeler Pub. Right on top of there is where the wedding reception was. So we could literally look off of our balcony and see where the wedding reception was. So that was neat. So after the wedding had an open bar. So, I mean, I didn't drink that much, but you didn't have to worry about how much you were drinking because you just had to walk next door and you were back at the hotel. So that was really nice, but when we got there, we went out for a walk. Just walked around and we're like, let's go find some place to eat supper. Just walked across the street and down a little ways and went, there's an old spaghetti factory right there. I had no idea. So we went in there and we ate, and I love Old Spaghetti Factory because you can get an entire meal for like $12 and you get coffee or tea with it, and you get fresh bread and butter. You get super salad, you get your huge plate of spaghetti, and you get dessert. All for like $12, so I love it. And then the next day was the wedding, so we got up and got dressed and drove over to the church, and the wedding was really beautiful. It was a whole ceremony. It was like in a Christian Catholic church, and so we had the whole ceremony, communion and everything. Then we went back to our hotel for a couple of hours and then got ready for the reception. Went over to the reception. The reception was really amazing. I had the most amazing meal I've ever had in my life. The groom is my cousin, and then the bride, her whole family is Italian, and our meal was amazing. I have a picture of the menu on my Facebook, and we had like bacon wrapped steak, and we had pasta and salad and like all sorts of things, and dessert and seafood and like everything you can imagine. Plus there was wine and there was champagne, and then there was the open bar, of course. And there was coffee and tea and stuff, and then I didn't dance a lot at the wedding because they weren't really playing any music that I liked. They were playing a lot of the kind of crap that you hear on the radio all the time, the R&B and stuff that I don't really like, but it was really good nonetheless. And then the next day, my mom and I got up and we decided we were going to take a bus tour around Vancouver, downtown, like around Vancouver. So we took the train, which is just across from our hotel. We hopped on the train, took it into downtown Vancouver, and then hopped on a bus tour, which took about an hour and a half, took us all the way around Vancouver, pointed out a lot of the main sites and stuff. So that was fun. And the bus tour was kind of rerouted that day. That would have been August 5th, Sunday, because the Vancouver Pride Parade was on. I had no idea it was on that weekend, and it's too bad we didn't have more time, or I would have wanted to get off the bus and go and watch the parade. But we didn't really have that much time. Because we also wanted to, once we were done the bus tour, we also wanted to go to the Capilano Suspension Bridge. So we got on a free shuttle and went out there. That was lots of fun too. We went across the bridge, and it was rocking back and forth quite a bit. Sorry, my nose is running. It was really busy that day though. I guess it was the long weekend, so to be expected. And then there was a treetops adventure part of it where you walked from like between different trees on little like suspension bridges. That was cool. And then I also went on the Skywalk, which is like a really narrow bridge type thing that goes out and around like in a horseshoe shape around a tree. That was really fun, really cool. I have lots of pictures of that, again, on my Facebook. And then after that, we decided we were just going to wander around downtown Vancouver for a while, see if there's any restaurants around that we could stop in and have supper at. So we found this little cafe called Bellagio Cafe. We ate there. It was really good. And then we hopped on the train and went back out to New Westminster. Our hotel was in a place called New Westminster, which is basically in Vancouver, but it's like a suburb. It's the same city, but it's called something different. It's a suburb. So we took the train back out there. And then the next day, which was the day that we planned on leaving Vancouver, we decided in the morning we were going to go to the Vancouver Aquarium. So we hopped on the train, took it downtown, and then took a bus from there into Stanley Park, which is where the Vancouver Aquarium is. And the Vancouver Aquarium was amazing. I loved it. So many different animals. The penguins were adorable. The sea otter was adorable. I have pictures of all this. I also have a video of the sea otter. But it was amazing. So then after that, we took the bus back downtown and the train back to where our hotel was. And then we left there and we headed out. We left Vancouver and we headed out to Kamloops. We were going to stay in Kamloops that night. So then there was a traffic jam on the other side. Everybody was heading back into Vancouver after the long weekend as we were leaving, and there was a big traffic jam on the other side of the road. And so the traffic was at a standstill on that side. So lucky we were leaving Vancouver that day and not trying to get into Vancouver. But so we spent that night in Kamloops. We got there after dark. Then the next day we got up and we drove to Golden, BC, where my brother lives. We stayed there for 2 nights, the Tuesday night and the Wednesday night. Tuesday night we met him for supper. Wednesday morning my mom dropped me off at the whitewater rafting. She went and walked around downtown and stuff while I went whitewater rafting because she didn't want to go. I enjoyed that so much. I loved it, loved it, loved it. I would definitely do it again and I would definitely recommend it. I don't know if you can see my t-shirt here I'm wearing, but it says, I survived the Kicking Horse River, and that's like where we went whitewater rafting was on the Kicking Horse River. The first part of the tour was basically a float down the river, and then the second part is the rapids, but after the float, you stop and have a barbecue lunch, and then you go and do the rapids. It was really fun. The family that I ended up being in the boat with, turns out they're also from Saskatchewan. So, from Buena Vista, which is near Regina Beach. So that was kind of neat. And The tour guides, of course, both the tour guides, one was female, one was male. They both don't know my brother. The girl who was working at the desk at the whitewater rafting place, she knows my brother. The girl who works at the desk at our hotel, she knows my brother. Seems like everybody who works in like the tourism kind of industry out there, they all know each other. So that's cool. And then Wednesday night, we also went for supper with my brother, had a really nice supper. And then Thursday we left. We headed to Calgary. We stayed in Calgary overnight. And then Friday morning, we got up early and we drove back to Regina. And that was my trip. And then we got back to Regina Friday evening. And then Saturday, I went to Moose Jaw, which is a city about 45 minutes west of here, to go and meet up with my friends there, my friend and her daughter. And we went and saw a Simple Plan in concert. And that was amazing because I hadn't been to a concert in so long. That was really good. And then we went to the bar after. And some of the guys from Simple Plan came to the bar. And the guys from Faber Drive came to the bar. And they were mingling with the fans and stuff. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, that was my trip. If you want to check out my photos, you can go to my Facebook page. Look under BC Trip Photos. And they'll all be there. And I also have Moose Jaw, Simple Plan, Faber Drive photos on there as well. And I hope you enjoyed hearing about my trip. I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.